Okay, what's going on, everybody? Thumbs up if you can see me, you can hear me. What's up, Lori? What's up, Stemus? What's up, Quad? What's up, Nuno? We got Shane in the house. Always good to see you. Hans, Michael Bosch, good to see you. Reginald, and everybody else, turn these cameras on or Martini's going to throw you out. I'm going to throw somebody out right now. Lisa Hansons, I'm giving you 5, 4, 3, 2, gone. I'm throwing her out, Martini. Gone. What can I say? You had to go. All right, turn these cameras on. I need to see you here. So show me see that beautiful face, Michael Tooth. I put on a tie for you. Thank you, Lori. Nada, where are you? Naomi Campbell, thank you for putting that on. We got Tracy, thank you. Srikant Tama, Shane B, Karen, Sue Garner. Sue Garner, you got a good picture, but I don't see you. So Martini, please throw them out if the cameras aren't on. We got to see faces. Folks, this is a really hot presentation. I just came back from the Paris Blockchain Summit in France, which is pretty much the most important conference when it comes to blockchain, metaverse. And guess what everyone was talking about? Can anyone guess what they were talking about? Lori knows. AI, right? And a couple of the guys were hot from Silicon Valley, and I was talking to them in this private room in the back where it was just about 5 of us talking off the record. And they said, Brian, everything's AI. Like, it's the hottest thing. Everybody wants to talk about it. The valuations are crazy, but the opportunities are out there. And also, one guy said something to me really interesting. He said, Brian, AI and the metaverse and the blockchain, he said, they're 3 parts of the same puzzle. Does that make sense to everybody here? They really are. Looks like Tracy, you know what I'm talking about, right? Nod your head if you know what I mean. The more you look into this, you start to see that on first glance, they seem to be separate. You're like, well, AI does this thing and blockchain does this thing. They actually are very, very interlinked. And AI can actually help build the metaverse. The metaverse is all built on the blockchain. And if we keep AI open, which is what we want, then we want it on the public blockchain. If you've seen recently on Twitter, you can see Elon Musk getting very, very angry and concerned with the moves that OpenAI is making. He's directly criticizing them on Twitter. Put your thumbs up if you've seen him doing that. You've seen him doing that, Tracy? He said, wait a second, I gave you money 4 years ago to make an open AI, right? Which means it's open source and it's a nonprofit organization. He said, now it's a privately held company and it's controlled by Microsoft. He's like, wait, what happened? What is this? You lied to me, not once, but twice. The other thing is that 9 days after ChatGPT 4 was released, they've now allowed you to plug it into the live internet with ChatGPT 4 plugins. Anybody see that? Lynn Alden, who's been on my show, one of the foremost analysts in Bitcoin, just posted a tweet saying, well, wait a second, guys. We haven't tested this thing, and we're plugging this into the live internet. We don't know what it can do. We don't know the feedback loops. And look, we're not assuming it's going to take over the world, but wait, shouldn't we test this first? There's a reason OpenAI was kept to only know the internet up to 2021, right? So there's a lot of concerns here, and everybody I spoke to in Paris at the Blockchain Summit was concerned about this. And I think they should be. Thumbs up if you're a bit concerned about these moves, okay? This is happening so fast. And folks, this is how it moves. This is how it goes. It's like it happens on a Friday, and by Monday, the whole world has changed. Because when the AI pops, it goes exponential like this. You know, it doesn't just kind of go like this, it goes. And if there becomes a feedback in something called an artificial general intelligence, are we familiar with that term? AGI, it's something my friend Dr. Ben Goertzel talks about. That's an artificial intelligence that can correct itself and build on itself. Now, what we're seeing right now with ChatGPT, that's a narrow AI. That in itself, it can mimic what looks like superhuman potential, but it's basically regurgitating things based on what's called an LLM, a large language model. But if you can get that plugged into a feedback loop, you can create what we also known as Skynet. Did anybody watch the movie Terminator, right? That's Skynet, right? Isn't it weird how the stuff that we grew up on is like, oh, that's a little too close to being true right now. So look, tonight, I want to talk about 2 things. I want us to be involved in the investments of artificial intelligence so we can make sure it stays open. Just the way that we're investing in the open metaverse right now. I just saw Yat Su from Animoca Brands in Paris yesterday, and he's all about the open metaverse because he said to me when he came on my show a year and a half ago, he said, Brian, we can't let Mark Zuckerberg control our metaverse. Can I get thumbs up if here of anybody that wants to see Mark Zuckerberg control our metaverse? Thumbs down. Okay, right. We don't want that. Because if you think your newsfeed is bad, that thing can literally make you angry or sad based on one person's turn of a dial in Silicon Valley. What could they do with the metaverse, where literally it's your entire reality? So the same is true with AI. If we invest in it, and here's the trick, you don't need to invest large amounts. You can actually force this thing to stay open and public on the blockchain. That's what we want. We actually don't want companies like Microsoft and Google and Meta and Amazon and Apple controlling our AI. Is everybody with me here? Okay. And here's the good news, folks, and I'm going to share with you exactly how we're going to do this, because we've actually just seen an AI company come across our London Real Ventures in our investment club. We've seen the pitch deck, and it looks very interesting, and the valuation is actually reasonable. We believe that by investing in it, we can actually help control and keep it open and keep it out of those hands. And it's actually very possible. We've seen this happen with the blockchain, where actually a few small investments, like look at Ethereum, it started out small, and now it's bigger than what a government could create as a CBDC. So there is a precedent to this. Look at what I did. I was one person in a studio in 2020 here, locked down in London, and we were putting out videos that were changing the world, right? I literally had technology companies looking for me, like literally looking for me. So it doesn't take much to completely change the game. All it takes is a few motivated individuals with some well-placed capital, intention, and some technology to scale. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. Sound good for everybody here? All right, one last call to turn cameras on. And if not, I'm throwing some people out. I'm being a little ruthless tonight, Martini. James Porter, I'm throwing you out, man. No camera on, you're gone. Sorry, James, you're out. Babu George, no camera on, I'm throwing you out. Sorry, Martini. I had enough of this. Cameras on, please. I want attention. I'm about to share this presentation, but I just want you to be with me and be ready. Is everybody ready? This thing's going to move super fast. I'm going to drop IP videos and everything. I appreciate you being here on a Friday night. I've had a crazy busy week in Paris. I just got off a 2-hour live broadcast with Dr. Gad Sad, but I really wanted to get this to you because it's important, and this stuff is happening. Literally, it's changing by the day, and I want to get this to you as soon as possible. So let me share my screen here. This is what I've just cooked up here. Booyah. Can everybody see this? Just thumbs up if you can see this. This is me. How to profit from artificial intelligence investing. It's my secrets to create generational wealth. By doing that, we're going to have the wealth to be able to control the future. You can't do one without the other. Let's not kid ourselves, folks. There's nothing wrong with creating wealth, by the way. It's how we stay in control, and we need to control this. It's a picture of me created by our future AI overlords. Do you guys like the picture, or is it a little bit demonic? I thought I would just put it up there. All right. So this was created. I just want to say that I am playing around with these things. What do they say? Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. So I'm staying close with these AI folks to see what they can do. And that's what this picture is all about. Look, let's jump into it. I'm going to move fast here. Tonight, at the very mid part of this presentation, I'm going to talk about 3 hot deals that we're actually deploying over $1 million in right now. So I want to show you the type of deals we're looking at. They're metaverse and AI plays. So you can see how only $1 million can potentially change the future. Again, especially if we can keep it into people's hands, our hands, and keep it open. So we're doing this right now. I'm like not joking, and I'll show you the exact deals and what's happening as well, and their AI components. So look, let's just look at some of the articles. We know this. This was 2 months after its launch. ChatGPT reached 100 million users. Okay, it was the fastest adoption of technology in human history. Let me say that again. The fastest adoption of technology in human history. Has everybody got that? Thumbs up. This is big, okay? This is big. It's even bigger than you think it is, all right? It's kicked off an AI arms race. This quote is extremely prescient from the founder of AI, Sam Altman. This is important. Let me get this back, by the way, sorry. He said, if you think you understand the impact of AI, you do not understand, and you have to be instructed further. If you know that you do not understand, then you do truly understand what AI is. Does that make sense to anybody here? Thumbs up if that makes sense. So if you're walking around thinking, oh no, I think I got this. They just do this little word thing over here. It's not going to change things. Everything's going to be okay. That means you think you understand it, which means you don't understand it. If you're willing to admit with hubris that you don't really understand this and you don't understand the implications, then I believe is how you truly understand that. Thumbs up if that's how you feel right now, that maybe you don't really understand what's going on here. Okay, I think that's smart. And honestly, that's the way I feel about Metaverse, blockchain, and Bitcoin. I don't really understand it. I always used to say YouTube, when I first started on YouTube 12 years ago, I used to say this to people. This is interesting. I used to say, we don't really know what YouTube is yet. Interesting things to say, right? And people look at me like, what are you talking about, Brian? It's just a TV on the internet. What are you talking about? What do you mean? I'm like, no, we don't really know what it is yet. We think we know what it is. We think it's just video on the internet, but it's not, because it had feedback loops and it had comments and it had shareability, it had viral ability. It could completely morph into something we didn't understand, right? Me, Brian Rose, sitting in a chair with David Icke on April 6th of 2020, it changed the world because of YouTube. So don't tell me we understood what it was, right? We didn't, because it had world-changing possibilities, enough to where people were trying to close us down. To these random dudes in London having a convo was threatening the world and the WHO, right? What's up with that? So again, going in with some hubris is important to understand these technologies. Let me keep going. ChatGPT is just the beginning of this AI economy. We're seeing lots of different startups and lots of different verticals being adopted: manufacturing, agriculture, all these different technologies and all these different services. So it's just happening. And luckily, I've been able to sit down with Dr. Ben Goertzel. Thumbs up if you know Dr. Ben Goertzel from my shows. He's a pretty amazing guy. He's been doing this for 20, 25 years. He's not some fair weather friend. He's not some late bloomer. He grew up like living this stuff. He's in his 50s, all right? Now, I had the benefit of sitting down with him in 2019, right before he went on the Joe Rogan episode, and I had a conversation with him of where AI was then. 4 years later, I had a similar conversation with him to find out what he thought. And I'm going to show you the differences between those two so you can see the acceleration of what's happening here. This is really important to understand this. By the way, Ben's token, Singularity Net, popped from 4 cents, which it had been flatlining at for a year, up to 50 cents. That's a 10x increase in the last 2 months. Does anybody know when that graph starts to go up there? Anybody know what date that was? What happened on that date? Any guesses? Put your hand up. December 9th. That's when ChatGPT went live. Look at this, 10x, crazy. All right. So we know what's happening here. All right. I want to share with you a quick video of Ben, because I really want you to listen to what he has to say here, because this was Ben talking about AI, but this was back when hold on one second. This was Ben talking in 2019. All right. So I want you to really see the difference between these two guys. And this is really important. All right. Hold on one second. All right, let's try this. Martini, if you're there, if you could allow me to share screen or give me co-host, that would be amazing, because that way I can share these videos. Let me see. Here we go. Booyah. All right, here we come. All right. Okay, so this has been from 4 years ago. And I want you to see this because you can really see the acceleration of what's happening here. Okay, here we go. Watch this.
Once you get AIs that are massively smarter than we are, we're in a domain where we're not going to be able to predict what happens. That is scary, but it probably won't stop the singularity.
The development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race.
2029, we get AIs as smart as people. By 2045, we have AIs boundlessly more intelligent. Whatever happens with the superintelligence, its mind state will be conditioned by the earlier AIs. What is AI mostly being used for on the planet Earth right now?
Drones, tanks, and automated gun machines could allow war to be fought on a scale greater and faster than ever before.
Selling, spying, killing, and gambling are the primary goals and values in the mind of the first superintelligence. I mean, we're not setting the best example in terms of the way human society is being regulated right now, nor the way we treat non-human life forms on the planet. What if the AI treats us the way we treat less intelligent animals? We want them to be more compassionate to us than we are to each other. The attitude of wanting to foster connectivity of all sentient beings is quite important. If we can get that attitude into our super AIs, we're going to be a lot better off. I want people to start deeply thinking and to start learning and studying and to be figuring out how they can best contribute, just as I've done in my own life. They live in interesting times. It'll be even more interesting.
All right, what do we think of Ben Goertzel? Do we think this guy might be the one we want to listen to going forward with AI? Can we hear him okay? All right, so that was 4 years ago. All right, I had him on recently, and I just want you to see a little bit of a contrast because I wanted to check him on those dates. He said by 2029, it's as intelligent. By 2040, it's significantly more intelligent. And we saw some massive development. So that was one of the first questions I wanted to ask him. So I had him back on the show here at the end of January, and I want to share with you what he said. So this was the latest, Ben. And I'll also tell you the answer when he revised those dates because it was pretty fascinating. So this is what he said then. Booyah. All right. So here's the latest, Ben.
We are leaping into the great unknown, creating machines that are much smarter than us. This is either exciting or frightening or both, depending on your personality.
Will AI exterminate humanity?
Eliezer Yudkowsky, a decade or two ago, he said, the AI does not love you. The AI does not hate you, but it can use your atoms for something else. Actually, my view tends to be that AI is the greatest hope we have to save humanity from exterminating itself.
I don't think anyone in the world understands how this will be the most transformational time in human history.
I have a 5-year-old son, a 1-year-old daughter, and a 4-year-old granddaughter. By the time they're turned 18, the whole texture of human life and the nature of the world they grow up into is going to be incredibly different from the world that we see now. Like, they're never going to have to get jobs. On the whole, I'm an optimist. I have a spiritual or intuitive feeling that things are going to come out awesomely in the next 10 years. We're going to overcome material scarcity. We're going to create machines that can feed into our brains via brain-computer interfacing and help uplift human consciousness. And we're going to port into virtual worlds and achieve like states of intelligence and awareness going way beyond anything we can imagine now. So that's what the Captain Kirk in my head thinks. We're on the verge of engineered utopia. It's incredible. It's a remarkably weird and fortuitous thing to be living at such a time.
All right, we got that. That's the latest Ben Goertzel. All right, and I'm going to share with you some bullet point takeaways that he told me actually off camera when we got done. I've actually asked Ben to be our AI advisor for London Real Ventures, and I got a call with him actually on Monday to just go further on that. He really likes what we do. He knows that we're all about the right methodology, and he knows just because of our background that we're on the same page, which is fantastic. So let me show you the takeaways I got from Ben. Is this, can everybody see this up there on screen? Okay, so here are the takeaways. Google's dead, all right? Web 2 companies are gonna struggle to develop any kind of AI or AGI, giving these blockchain and decentralized systems a really amazing opportunity, all right? He also goes on to say that nasty, selfish people are gonna use narrow AI to exert their own greed and control over others. Does that make sense? The nasty, selfish people. Look what's happening with OpenAI right now, right? With Microsoft and OpenAI, they're potentially going to put out of work. I mean, Ben estimated 4 billion people are going to be out of work. I mean, that's pretty extreme. But look what they're doing. I mean, they're putting out of work copywriters, computer programmers, lawyers, and they're driving this so fast and so hard that a very small group of people are going to be able to exert control over a very large group of people. By the way, people we thought were untouchable before, right? Who here thought computers and lawyers were like some of the best occupations to have, right? Computer programmers and lawyers. I did. I was taught as a kid, like that's the degree you wanted. When I went to MIT, the computer science degree was all the smart kids would do. So Ben says with narrow AI, you're going to have a small people exerting control over others, as if we didn't already have a small group of people exerting control. This makes it even worse. And he goes on to say that the dominance of narrow AI is going to determine the pre-singularity, which creates the singularity. What he means by that is that the pre-singularity is right before basically AI takes over. And if the future AI is trained by the people like Microsoft that are trying to run the whole world, nasty, selfish people. Do you think the nasty, selfish people are going to build benevolent AI? Anybody believe that? Probably not, right? And it's an interesting point I never heard before. So he argues that probably the next 2 years, maybe 18 months, is the pre-singularity. And so what happens with narrow AI right now is going to determine the future, which makes it even more important that we act now. So these are his takeaways. He also said governments are unlikely to make the breakthroughs because they're too stupid and too conservative. He's probably right. AI is going to build the metaverse, which we agree here. And I asked him, will it annihilate humanity or take over the universe? And he says it's possible. You can't rule it out. Like you said, they don't hate you, but they might have a better use for your atoms. Okay, Elizabeth Johansson, is that all right? Shane Giles? Nothing against you, Shane, but we might have a better use of your atoms, Tracy. All right. Again, I said that to Ben. I'm like, well, what if the AI wakes up one day and it decides to clean up that mold in the corner in the kitchen? It's like, oh, I just cleaned up the mold in the corner of the kitchen. And we come back and we say, that was humanity you just cleaned up. Oh, my mistake. I thought I was just cleaning that thing over there. So look, we just need to be aware with what's happening. Let me continue to go here because I want to get through some material. Obviously, when it comes to media, we know AI is going to be a part of creating it. There was an article in The Independent that came out last week in Britain. It said an AI had written the very first article that they published in their newspaper. Can you believe that? Right? BuzzFeed CEO says AI-powered content will become part of their core business in this year, 2023. All right. BuzzFeed stock went up 150%. That doesn't happen with these big publicly traded companies. 150%. Okay. It's happening. 90% of our online content is going to be generated by AI in 2 years' time. How many people agree with that, by the way? 90% of your content. You're kidding yourself if you think it's not. Even all the scripts you hear on TV, all the tweets that are coming out. Julian just came to me today. He said, Brian, I just found this tool that'll send out tweets based on what's trending. It'll just pile tweets out that are AI generated based on what's trending to get you views and likes. I said to him, I said, well, how soon is it until all the tweets are AI generated, right? And all it is just a robot putting out all this fluff, right? You think it's bad being oppressed by the WHO and the WEF and the FBI and the CIA via Twitter. Wait till the AI is involved. You won't even know what's real out there. So this is happening. We need to be aware of it. Microsoft is beating Google at their own game. I want to talk about this. Microsoft was the ugly stepchild for the past 20 years. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about, right? Microsoft was your old grandpa company, right? Yeah, use it at work. Microsoft Outlook. Are you kidding me? Right? Google was the hot thing, right? Facebook was hot. Apple had the cool devices, right? Amazon was leading the way. Not anymore, baby. It's payback time. And Satya Nadella, the CEO, he's going to take them all out. He's been sick and tired of having Google eat his lunch for him for the past 10, 15 years. And they're coming back with a vengeance, right? They're going to put him out of business. ChatGPT is going to kill search, right? Google, owned by Alphabet, its golden goose is search. How many people here use Google as a search engine? Come on, don't lie to me. I know you go in there. You're not using that DuckDuckGo, right? Come on, right? All right, some of you don't. Good for you, Alice. Yeah, good for you. All right, but some of us use it. Why? We type in a result and it gives us a bunch of websites to click on to see if it's the right result. How many people click on the first link on Google and it solves 100% of your question? Thumbs up if that happens to you all the time. It doesn't really, does it? You have to click on the second link and the third link and you're like, what am I doing here? ChatGPT, you just ask it a question, it gives you the answer, one answer, right? It's going to take out Google's entire business model and all their other businesses, right? Google X and all these other businesses, they don't make any money, right? Google had a red alert, code red on the whole company when ChatGPT came out. And of course, investors are seeking to profit. I heard about that this whole week in Paris, all right? Microsoft just put 10 billion into OpenAI and they're releasing super fast, okay? ChatGPT 3.5 came out in December. ChatGPT 4, which I'm using, by the way, came out last week. Now you can hook it up to the internet with plugins 9 days later. Apparently ChatGPT 5 is scary. And that's going to keep iterating from there. And when you plug these tools within one another, that's when it starts to get very interesting. Some people are saying OpenAI is going to put Google in the ground, and it's very, very possible that it does. This is Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. We can all say boo. He's actually speaking at the World Economic Forum. How many people were at the World Economic Forum this year? Rubbing elbows with Klaus Schwab? No, nobody here? Okay. And look, the reason I want to play this video is because I want you to see his attitude. All right. Now, Satya Nadella is a very calm and collected guy, right? He runs Microsoft. He got passed on from Bill Gates. Anybody here hang out with Bill Gates recently, right? Big fan of Bill Gates? Okay. So he's a pretty calm, cool, collected guy until the last couple of months. He's changed. Watch this guy and tell me you don't see some serious swagger here.
I would say, we're still waiting for the Industrial Revolution to reach some large parts of the world 250 years after. The internet maybe took 30 years. Maybe the cloud and mobile took 15 years. And now I think we're talking months, which to me, I think is perhaps the benefit. We shouldn't take something like AI safety as a core consideration right, at the design time. The ChatGPT moment has, I think, captured people's imagination. But we started the work with OpenAI, I would say 3.5 years ago, when we started building the AI supercomputer in Azure to train these large models. When you look at GPT-3 to 3.5 to what's coming, these are non-linear developments, so they're showing emergent capability. But the fact is that these things by themselves are becoming platforms that I think truly can make a difference.
All right, can everybody see that swagger there? This guy knows he's going to take over the world, and he knows he's going to put Google out of business. And I really noticed that. He also said some really interesting takeaways that I want to share with you. That let's just get them in bullet point form because they're very important. So this is what I heard. Maybe you heard something different. He said the Industrial Revolution took 250 years. The internet took 30 years. Mobile took about 15 years for everybody to have one of these things. AI is taking months for this technology. Months. It's scary how fast this is moving. And he is right at the front of it. And right now they are dominating the market. Has anybody seen Google's failed attempts? Right? They've already failed and put things out there and they're crashing and burning with Bard and all this nonsense. And they're really dominating and it's getting scary. And again, even Elon Musk is not impressed with it because he thought this was going to be open. So look, what I want to talk about is how we can identify the trends. I want to show you how you can evaluate the opportunities and then now you can pull the trigger and invest. I honestly think at this point, the only way we can control this technology is to invest in it. Does that make sense to everybody here? I don't think if we go out on the street with our placards and rally in front of the governments, it's going to change this. Does anyone think that's going to work? The governments can't control this. Unless we meet these companies head on with disruptive technology, open source technology on a public blockchain, that's the only chance we have. That's what crypto did, right? A few crypto punks basically rivaled a banking system, freaked out a government, right? So we can do the same thing here. And that's the only way you're going to win this is through guerrilla warfare. But you have to have skin in the game and you have to use wealth and create wealth because with that wealth, you can change the game. And anybody telling you the opposite is wrong. We have this wrong narrative in this world that to do something great, you have to be altruistic and it has to be a nonprofit. I do not believe that. Everything great in the world also creates value. And therefore, you should also be able to make great change, do great things, create value, help other people, and make a lot of money. Is everybody with me here? I actually believe they must go hand in hand because we can take the money we make and we can plow it back in and open it up and help more people. And don't let anyone tell you differently. That's one of the biggest fallacies that kills so many movements when people say, oh, you have to do it and you have to struggle. That's not true, okay? I just came from Paris where they're burning cars in the street. I kid you not, right? Down the street from my hotel, they're burning cars in the street. That's all good, but that's not gonna change this from coming. We have to be smarter about this. So again, people are investing money. There's a fund, 550 million that's going into this by the Financial Times, all right? And the reason they're doing this is because AI is taking over industries like healthcare, finance, transportation, but also it's taking over industries that we never expected, like computer programming and law. These are the things that we thought would never happen. How many people here thought that AI would take over the blue collar jobs first, right? The factory workers, the truck drivers. I mean, that's what I always thought, the taxi drivers. It's hitting the top of the food chain first. Don't worry, it's coming for everybody else too. But once they make the robots, then they'll take out the other people. But it's actually taking out high-level professions. There's already jobs now I wouldn't give my lawyer that I would have paid them thousands or tens of thousands of pounds for that I can check quickly with ChatGPT. Same with copywriting, same with coding, website design, social media posts, you name it. It can all be done now basically for free. This is how this market is moving. And these figures are being revised up almost by the week, right? $1 trillion market by 2030. It's probably more like 3 trillion now that everyone's realized. It's probably going to continue to be revised up every single week. All right. So what we're investing in is the ones that are going to disrupt market. That's what we want to look at and create new opportunities, something that can be created that humans couldn't create before. We like machine learning. We got natural language processing, obviously, is huge, computer vision and robotics. Also, people like Mark Andreessen from Andreessen Horowitz, they just put $200 million into an AI company last week. He says we're entering what he describes as an AI-powered golden age of writing, art, music, software, and science. It's going to be glorious. Of course, he's got the investments. But it's interesting that Mark, which is one of the smartest guys in the world when it comes to VC, also sees it affecting everything, not just tech, not just tech. I was at MIT last year, and I stopped by the Sloan School of Management where I took classes. And again, all they were talking about was AI. AI productivity is booming. I went by my fraternity house where there's 50 young men about to go out into the world. When I was there in 1993, I was going into banking. The other guys were going into computer science. Some were going into robotics. Some were going into management consulting. These were the hot jobs. When I stopped by that house, they're all going into two things. I kid you not. They're going into crypto and AI. Those are the hot jobs. That's how you know when the smartest minds in the world are going into this stuff. This is gonna change everything, and that's why these are gonna disrupt, and we need to be involved. Generative artificial intelligence is what's happening now. It's these large language models, this machine learning, where they're taking this huge data set of everything that's ever been written on the internet, and they're iterating this with the large language model, and they're coming out, and it spits out new products and services. Has anybody here played with ChatGPT? Thumbs up if you have. You see what I'm talking about? It spits something out. It isn't intelligence per se, but since it's analyzed everything, it can come up with ideas that humans haven't come up with. And that's what's interesting here. All right. And it's the greatest dislocation of wealth in a generation. The magazine SiliconANGLE said this: no matter what job you have, your operation will be AI powered within 5 years, and machines will be doing your job in the future. Raise your hand if you think machines going to do your job in the next 5 years. Raise your hand. Come on, be honest. What if it's going to do 80% of your job in the next 5 years? Right? Lori, your thumbs are down. I think, what was that quote by Sam? If you think you know the future, you don't understand there. Look, I can say they're not going to do me, but I've actually done an AI version of me, and it looks like me and talks like me, and it doesn't stutter. Okay? It doesn't have grumpy days. All right? What's Lori says, it can't eat. It doesn't need to eat. All I'm saying is we have to be open-minded, okay? That this could change everything, and it could put us all out of work, and that's important. If you have any questions, by the way, stick them in the chat. I'm going to cover them all at the end, okay? I just want to get through this really quickly. So look, it is going to improve efficiency, but it's going to drastically alter the workforce and the population and society forever. Ben said half the jobs, 4 billion jobs, are going to be gone. But you know what Ben said? He said, look, everyone's going to get universal basic income. How many people here think that's a good idea? Universal basic income, it's going to solve all of our problems. No, I don't think it's good at all. I agree with you, Michael, because what happens with UBI? He said, my kids are going to never have to have a job the rest of their life. I don't buy that for a second. Humans were put on this planet to create things and do things and innovate and disrupt. And we're not here to collect a salary and watch Netflix all day. Plus, if you get a universal basic income, you're controlled. You're controlled by a government / AI at that point. Ben, I disagree with Ben on that, but that's okay. We can disagree. And also, we believe that 2023 is the year of AI, and it's going to create generational wealth, and that's why we're doing this. So I want to show with you what we're doing behind the scenes. I'm going to show how you can be involved, okay? This is London Real Ventures. I created this about 1.5 years ago. It's the world's first media-powered investment firm. I was talking to the top VCs in Paris this week at the Blockchain Summit, and when I told them this concept, their jaws dropped. They're like, wow, Brian, I've never heard of this, and this is hot. Because not only do we give you capital, we write you a check, but I also put the CEO in the leather chair. You get an incredible broadcast. You get an amazing vision of their future, and you get an incredible piece of organic media that then powers the company forward. But we're not done. We take our 5 million subscribers and we blast out to them, the company, the links, test places, everything that they can do. And on top of that, I connect them with all of the key people of influence that I know in blockchain, in Metaverse, in all places. And we propel this company forward. It's more attractive than any venture capital company that all they do is write checks. And look, if Mark Andreessen, if you're watching this, big respect for what you do, but I'm sorry, A16Z does not have a media channel. All you guys have is money. And I'm sorry, right now, money is not the only thing people want. So we're doing this and we're investing in these 3 areas: blockchain, artificial intelligence, and the metaverse. You've got to pull the trigger if you want to be involved here. You can't talk about AI, use AI, do your business with AI. You've got to invest in AI if you want to be a part of this revolution. All right. And that's what I learned. These are the companies we're looking at in all sorts of ways: text to image, text to video, text to motion, text to code, audio to audio, brain to text. Okay. All of these things are happening right now, and we're looking at these opportunities. All right. These are some of the companies that are on the blockchain that we're already seeing are publicly traded. You saw Ben Gertzel is up 10x. This company, Cortex, has been up 2x. This company, Fetch AI, is up 3x. But quite frankly, I'm not interested in a 3x return. I'm looking for a 300x return. And I'm going to show you how we can get that with early stage investing. How many people want to see a 300x return on their money? Come on. Come on. Don't lie to me. I mean, look, a 3x return is better than a sharp stick in the eye, okay? Bitcoin's probably not going to go 3x in the next 5 months. So it's not bad, but why make 3x when you can make 300x and change the world with us investing in AI and keeping it open? Well, let me show you how we can do that. You got to put yourself out there. You got to find out where these deals are, is what you have to do. So that's what I'm doing. I'm traveling the world. This is me in Dubai recently. I'm hanging out with Carl the Moon, massive Bitcoin influencer. BitBoy Crypto, I'm on stage interviewing him. In the middle here top is Dr. Marwan Al-Zaruni, head of Digital Dubai in Dubai. He's now been promoted to a bigger role that's outwardly facing to the world right now. And I spent 3 days with him in Paris this week. I'm a huge fan of Dr. Marwan. He wasn't wearing his robes. He was actually in a suit. I didn't recognize him at first, but he's a great visionary, and he's seen a lot of things that are happening out there in the space. This is what I'm doing. I'm out there pressing the flesh. I'm back in Dubai at the same conference later this year. I'm also in Paris. These are pictures from my trip last week. I just got back on the Eurostar today, about 4 hours ago. And this is me hanging out in private dinners. I'm doing interviews. I'm in the documentary film. By the bottom left is me with Hervé Lauren. He chaired 5 or 6 different panels, and I hung out with him all weekend, and he was introducing me to the hot AI companies and a bunch of people on the blockchain. So this is what we're doing in the upper right-hand corner. These are 2 of our portfolio companies. One of them is Swissborg. One of them is Cross the Ages. These companies are doing amazing things. And of course, this is me in London at Token 2049. Upper left-hand corner is Yat Su of Animoca Brands. I saw Yat in Paris as well, and that's me interviewing him in the bottom right-hand corner. He is the single most important person in the metaverse. And by the way, Yat believes in an open metaverse. He does not want a single company to control our future, and he is very serious about that. He is against Meta and everything they're trying to do by trying to close the metaverse. I really like Yat, and I like having him as an ally. And here's me with Sammy Schlagu, one of our investments in Cross the Ages. He, by the way, was at A16Z yesterday in San Francisco. He just shared it on his Instagram stories. So it's possible we're going to be co-invested with some of the top VCs in the world. This is what happens when you pull the trigger. I invested in Sammy's company 16 months ago. I didn't know much about the space, but I had a really good feeling about Sammy, and I had some good advisors. So we cut him a check. They got invested in by Animoca after that. And I don't know, if they get invested by A16Z, it's going to really propel this company forward. We are on the cutting edge because we're talking to everybody. We've got a media platform. We can expose these companies, and everyone's starting to see they want to show their deck to London Real. This is good, as long as we have people that can join us to pull the trigger. You've got to understand the financial tools is the next step. And I want to show you how these things work and how you can get a 300x return. Early stage artificial intelligence investments represent the hottest opportunity because of this. Pay attention. You can buy at super low valuation, okay? You can see the biggest gains. You can invest in the biggest dislocation of wealth in human history. It's got a high risk. I'm not going to lie to you. This is high risk, but we believe the reward outweighs the risk. Just thumbs up if that makes sense to you. Does that make sense? This is what we call asymmetric returns. You can put a small amount of money and potentially make a 300x. This is different than the stock market. If you go buy a share of IBM, it's not going to go up 300x. Is that clear for everybody? Okay. If you go buy a share of Apple right now, it's a $2 trillion company. It's not going to go up by 300x. Why? Because there are no $600 trillion companies out there. It doesn't work that way. It's a scaling issue. You have to understand, to get these asymmetric returns, you have to invest in these companies before they go public. This is important. I'm going to show you why. Early stage funding is investing in a company before it's profitable. You're investing in a company when it's still generating losses. Is that clear for everybody? Okay, they're still in these early stages. Seed funding is when they just have an idea, right? Back in June of 2011, I had an idea that was London Real. I was like, yeah, I'm going to start this podcast. It's going to change the world. Everyone was like, shut up, Brian. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just a banker, a former banker. You didn't even have a job at that point. I was like, it's going to change the world. That's seed funding, all right? I funded it myself. The banks funded it with the bonuses they paid me, right? I'm sure they like that at this point. Startup funding when you got your first customer, okay? And you want to get your next 100 customers. Or startup funding is when you got an idea and it's flushed out, but you want to get your first customer. Early growth is getting your first, say, 1,000 customers. All right, is that clear for everybody? But this is all still when they're not profitable. They might have revenue, but they still haven't become profitable at this point. Let me show you an example. How many people know these gentlemen? Put your hands up if you know some of these guys up here or these brands, okay? On the left is Mr. Mark Zuckerberg. In the middle is Facebook, now known as Meta. On the right is Peter Thiel. Can I get a show of thumbs? How many people know who Peter Thiel is? He is a very accomplished venture capitalist. He also owns Palantir. He's made a lot of money early stage investing, okay? Let me tell you the story of how he turned $500,000 into $1 billion. This will show you how you can do it. In 2004, Peter invested $500,000 in Facebook. He did it via early stage equity private placement. It valued the company at $10 million. He put in 500,000, it valued the company at $10 million. Can anybody here guess what percent of the company he bought? Can I see some fingers? Anybody want to guess? Fingers. Okay, I appreciate the guess. Lori, that's cool. It's 5%. Okay, you take 500,000, divide it by 10 million, and you get 5%. If you put in $1 million, it would be at 10% of the company. Does that make sense to everybody here? Okay, so he just has 5% of the company. He doesn't control it. He let Mark do the work, but he bought in there. Okay, fast forward 8 years. What happened in 2012? Facebook did an IPO. They launched their shares to the public. Guess what, Lori? You get to buy the company now. Guess what, Elizabeth? You get to buy it. Tracy, now you can buy it. But you can't buy it for $10 million. You can buy it for $100 billion. You have to pay a little bit more, 10,000 times as much. What happens at that point? Peter Thiel makes a 2,300x on his money, not a 300x, a 2,300x. That's a 230,000% gain. Has anybody ever here made a 230,000% gain on anything? Come on, let me see the hand. Has anyone ever heard of that? I worked in the highest levels of international finance for 15 years. 15 years. I worked on Wall Street at one of the top banks trading interest rate derivatives. I traded in Chicago. I traded in London in credit derivatives, one of these big ass buildings behind me. I never, ever, ever, ever once heard of someone making these returns. And what happened after they went public? After Lori bought some and Tracy bought some and Shane bought some, what happened? The price went down. Of course it went down. Of course it went down. You always sell to the public when you want to take your profits, right? Of course it went down. So what do we learn from this? The rich get richer with deal flow. That's what we learn. A simple $10,000 investment would have made you $23 million. How many people here could have put $10,000 into this? Come on, put your hands up. You could have scraped it together. Come on, 10,000. Come on, Tarek, Alicia, maybe. Come on, Lori, you know you could find that 10 grand, right? So how many people wish they would have found the 10 grand and put it in there? Come on, 23 million, Elizabeth. Elizabeth Johansson, you look like you live pretty large. Elizabeth's like, I'm going to get a couple yachts. I'm going to get that house on the beach. And then I need more money after that. Okay, that's cool. But look, this is the kind of returns that you can get. All right. And again, keep in mind, afterwards, the price went down. So my final conclusion is the wealthy invest in early stage companies. The public markets are for suckers. They're for sheep, and sheep get slaughtered. Now, how many of you have ever bought a stock on the stock market, right? Bought some Tesla, bought an IPO, it went up 2x, and you're like, I got 2x on my investment. Popping bottles, high-fiving, and meanwhile, Peter Thiel's like, yeah, smile. I made 2000x on that. Anytime they're offering anything to the public is when all the juice is out of the trade. This is the first lesson they taught me on Wall Street when I got there at 22 years old, when I was 1993. They said the public is when we take our profits, we shove it onto them. So if you ever bought a crypto on a public market, if you ever bought a stock on a public market, all the juice is out of that. Trust me, somebody 5 years earlier, 6 years earlier, maybe 1 year earlier, bought it for pennies on the dollar. And they are using you to take their profits. Is that clear to everybody here? Now, did anybody here, by the way, get the call in 2004 to buy into this deal? Anybody here? Anybody? Wow, Mr. Castro, Lori, Elisa, James. Of course you didn't, because of something called this. You're not an accredited investor. Anybody here an accredited investor? No, that means you have to be rich to get richer, and the poor stay poor. All an accredited investor means is you have to be rich to see a deal that'll make you rich. Isn't this crazy? Crazy, right? You would have had to have a Swiss banker or had to be Peter Thiel's brother to see this deal, and you're not going to see it. So this is what you need to know. This is happening every single day, by the way, behind the scenes, and you'll never even know it's happening. You've got to take risks if you want to see these returns, and you've got to see these deals if you want to get these returns. Otherwise, you'll be buying them when they go public, and it's too late. By the way, this happens in crypto all the time, and I want you crypto heads to know. By the way, raise your hands if you own crypto here. Just raise your hands if you have crypto anywhere. Okay. This happens in crypto. All right. It's called a pre-sale token, right? When we invested in Cross the Ages, we bought pre-sale tokens. It's when you buy a token at a prearranged price before it exists. It's just like doing early stage equity, but it's a token. Let me give you an example. Raise your hand if you own Solana or if you've heard of the token Solana. It's the 9th largest cryptocurrency out there, about, I think, an $8 billion market cap. Okay, great. But did you know, you see this red circle here? They sold it in 2018 for 4 cents a token, 4 pennies a token. Can everybody look at that red circle and just pan right a little bit? Can everybody see? If you move over, they raised $3.17 million. Can you see that? This is on the blockchain. You don't have to trust me. It's all out there public. They sold, can you see it on all the way to the right? 79.3 million tokens. Can everybody see that? Just to the right. This is all on the blockchain, by the way. You can go check it yourself. That's a beautiful thing about blockchains. You can't hide it. It's all public record. Where's Solana today? It's right around 20 some dollars. What did that give you? A 59,000% return. It's a 600x on your money. 600x. Okay. That's when you wish you would have bought Solana. Okay. Now, how many people here own Bitcoin or Ethereum? Put your hands up. We do too. All my Academy students do. It's okay to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum on the exchange or to buy Solana. That's okay. But look, do you really think that Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to go up 300x? Put your hands up if you think they are. Is Bitcoin going to go up 300x? It's at 28,000 right now. 3x is 90,000. 10 more is 900,000. 10 more is 9 million. Is it going to go up 300x in 10 years? I've got the most bullish Bitcoin maximalists in the world that aren't saying that. Why? Because it's a $400 billion market cap, folks. When it gets that big, it can't go that much bigger. You can't get this with liquid tokens. Now, look, that doesn't mean you shouldn't own some. You can own some shares of Tesla. You can own some Bitcoin, Ethereum. Great. Look, it might do 10x. It might get to 1 million in 10 years. Great. But unless you have some money in early stage ventures, your portfolio is going to be a joke in 10 years. You're going to have to know what's going on here. All right. That's really, really important. So I just want you to say that as well. By the way, hands up if anybody here thinks that Ethereum and Bitcoin is going to 100x in the next, say, 5 years. Does anybody believe that? If you do, that's cool. It's just not. And so that's why you have to invest in these early stage companies. Again, remember, Solana raised only $3 million at 4 cents. When we put money in now, we put in half $500,000, $1 million. The whole round is like 3 million, 5 million. It values the company at 100 million. That way, when it goes public at 10 billion or 50 billion, we make our 100x or 500x return. Does that make sense? That's what we're doing here behind the scenes. The two companies I'm going to show you right now, we're investing in one at 125 million market cap, the other one's at 100 million market cap. So that's the kind of levels that we're getting in here on these companies. And that's why we know that they're going to go ahead and multiply going forward. That's how we can see those massive returns. One of my students said recently, he said, look, how many people he asked the investment club, how many people wish they would have invested in PayPal back in the day? And I'll ask you, raise your hand if you think you wish you would have invested in PayPal back in the day. Come on, Elon Musk's first company. This company scaled and scaled and scaled and basically reinvented money, right? That's what and the guy recently posted the video. His name is Jens. I'll play a video from him for you later. He said, look, this deal I'm going to show you, he said, this is the PayPal of the next generation. And he was telling everybody in the group to invest. That's what he said. So look, if you want to learn this stuff, you've got to learn from the best. And so that's why I want to show you how we evaluate these protocols. I want to give you a quick lesson on how we actually evaluate companies before we buy, because I want you to be able to do this yourself. We use the 5 T's when we evaluate a protocol: team, traction, technology, threats, and trends. I'll show you quickly how we do it. So let's take a company. For example, this case, OpenAI. Let's look at this team, all right? On the left, you've got Sam Altman, the guy we read his tweet earlier. American programmer. He's the former president of Y Combinator. Anybody ever heard of that? One of the hottest incubators of new companies in Silicon Valley. He's been a successful startup entrepreneur, accelerator, involved in companies like Airbnb and Dropbox, right? Amazing. Anybody ever heard of Elon Musk? Put your hands up if you heard of Elon, right? He's a centibillionaire, right? That's 100 billion plus, or at least he was. Companies like SpaceX, Tesla, The Boring Company, Neuralink, and of course, recently, Twitter, okay? This is a good team. We like to see teams that are this strong. Next, let's look at traction. This is the most important graph you're going to look at all year. Pay attention and focus on this right now. This is the time it took to go from 0 to 1 million users. Can everyone see this graph clearly? Are you all focused on it? It's very important. Netflix. How many people here use Netflix? Come on, you can tell me. Put your hands up. You're watching that Bridgerton. Come on, I know you're watching that stuff, right? Come on. All right, right? Got Tracy with smiling there. All right, 3.5 years, it got them to build 100 million users and 1 million users. That makes sense, right? You got to get people off of the old school and onto the new school, off of cable television. Okay, they're still successful. Airbnb. How many people here use Airbnb? Still, I use it. Come on, we like Airbnb. 2.5 years to get to 1 million users. Facebook, 10 months. Spotify, 5 months. Instagram, 2.5 months. iPhone, 74 days to get to 1 million users. Impressive. ChatGPT, how many days? Can everybody see that? How many days? It's actually 4 days. It was actually 4 days. That's wrong. 4 days it took them from 1 to 1 million. 2 months to 100 million. When are they going to hit 1 billion if they're not already there? I mean, I don't want to stop to think about this too much, or I start to get concerned about this. All right. I'm trying to stay focused. This is the most rapidly adopted technology in human history, and it's going to change human history more than any other single technology. We got to pay attention. And the technology itself, I asked ChatGPT why artificial intelligence is the most exciting investment opportunity in 2023. It answered my question. Isn't that crazy? It understands it has the potential to improve decision-making, right? Create new products and services, transform entire industries. That's what this does. Threat. Look, we got higher operating costs. We got data security concerns. We got shortage of talent. We got vulnerability to cyber attacks. These are real problems. And we know this with AI. So we got to be aware of this when we're investing. And finally, trends. You saw it. This is going to a multi-trillion-dollar business very, very, very soon. And we don't even know what we don't know. That's the problem. This could hit $1 trillion by next year easily. So we have to be aware. Last thing I want to talk about is it's not what you know, it's who you know. How many people agree with this, by the way? Hands up. It's true. It's just true, right? Well, how come I'm getting these hot deals I'm about to show you? They didn't knock on my door. They happened when I got out and went to Dubai and Paris and London and started broadcasting some of the greatest minds in the world and talking to Ben Goertzel. That's how we saw them. So what we do is we get pitch decks. This is actually over 170 pitch decks we've now got now. We look at them every single week in our investment club. We have a CEO. We had 2 CEOs last Thursday on the call come on and pitch their companies to us in one single call. We have one every single week inside our investment club. They come on, they give us our pitch deck. These are the front pages of a bunch of pitch decks, by the way. And I grill them for like 10 minutes. I personally think that my investment club, it's about 60 people right now. They just like me raking those CEOs over the coals, right? Because I make them sweat. Ask them hard questions. I want to see someone in real time if they can answer a hard question. I want to see if they're lying to me, if they're BSing to me, if their numbers make sense, if they're credible. On top of that, their metrics and their forecasts have to make sense. And then we do due diligence on them. And then I ask everybody in the industry if they're the real deal. This is how we do it, by seeing deal flow, deal flow, deal flow. This is our deal flow monitor. Okay. This is where we track all the deals. We track the name of the company, the blockchain it's on, if it is, what protocol it's on, what it's doing. We've got the pitch deck in there. We've got the amount they're raising. We got the valuation of the company. Those are two different things. They're raising, say, $5 million at, say, $100 million valuation or $1 billion valuation. And then are they raising equity? Are they raising tokens? This is what we need to know. We're constantly tracking this. We've got a group of 60 people that are doing this. Some of these people have never done this in their lives before. Within 3 months, they're bringing in deals. That's what we do. All right. And I'm going to show you the deals we're investing in. We're about to write a check for, I think it's $1.2, $1.3 million for these companies right now. Let me show you the flavor of what we're seeing, because it'll get you an idea of what you can look for on your own time. Orange Comet, Swissborg, and I'm saving one deal because it's kind of a hush hush, but I'll show you at the end. All right. This is Orange Comet. I just released the trailer of their CEO. All right. His name is Dave Broom. They're basically completely revamping what we know as Web3. They're building metaverses. They're building digital collectibles that are the hottest thing. They're Hollywood people that look at the metaverse in a completely different way. They know how to entertain. They know how to sizzle. All right. That's what they do. They've just done the Scottie Pippen sneaker collection. It's a physical and a digital product. You get a physical copy of the sneaker and you can wear it when you play games. They went on with Sir Anthony Hopkins and sold out his NFT. I think it was in 7 minutes. And then they sold out the Scottie Pippen in 77 seconds. They're doing things with major movie studios and movie franchises I can't even tell you about. What they're doing, it's absolutely blowing us away. I want to quickly play for you a trailer of the CEO that we invested in. All right. And this shows you what we do as a value add. So we invested in Orange Comet, wrote him a check for about $500,000. Then I brought the CEO in and I stuck him in the leather chair. And this is what he's like. And this is what we blasted out to the world. This thing's been watched 25,000 times. They're already getting interest for more investment, future customers, because of what we're doing here. And we're just getting started with these guys. This is Dave.
I never felt like I've left the entertainment industry and moving to Web3. I feel like I'm one that is trying to redefine it. If I don't sit there and go, that's it, man, that is fucking it. It's not walking out the door. If you feel great and you think you've done everything you possibly can, then you leave it to the world to determine if it's going to be successful or not. And that's what we're doing in Web3. We've been told, the movie studios to the Web3 industry itself, that there is no company in the world like Orange Comet now. We're looking to be a multi-billion-dollar publicly traded company. Period, end of story.
I haven't seen anybody coming through Web3 the way you guys do it.
We got involved in an amazing project with a British boy. His name is Joe Whale. I think I have the opportunity with Joe to make the next Pixar type movie, and all off of the mind and the work of a wonderful 13-year-old artist.
How do you find the bandwidth to do all these damn projects?
If I set out to do something, I get it done. And I'm not gonna fail here. There's no fucking way I'm gonna fail. I don't feel like I've reached my potential, and that's what's driving me. Tell kids and even grad students, they've gotta find something that they believe in, first and foremost. You know, people say, passion's bullshit. No, it's not. It's not. It drives everything. It just does, man. Once you make that decision to do something and pursue something, and you gotta go, or you gotta get out. You don't know what tomorrow holds. Don't you wanna try and live out your potential, find the happiness? We need to find inside of each of us what ultimately is gonna make us happy, and try and pursue that.
You guys like his energy, right? How can you not bet on this guy? When he first presented to us, and by the way, all those graphics were their created graphics, right? It's not your JPEG that you might expect. Like, they create these Hollywood special effects things that are just off the charts. And when Dave came in, he presented to our entire investment club. Everybody was like, I'm in, I'm in, I'm in, I'm in, I'm in, I'm in. We raised $500,000 like that. That's the kind of thing we're investing in, that passion, that vision. And we can tell right away. And then we put them in the chair and it gets blasted out. We're going to hit our whole audience with their next NFT drop. They're dropping in the Metaverse soon. He was on stage with William Shatner of Star Trek. How many people here know William Shatner from Star Trek? He was on stage with him in LA, 2 days ago. They're dropping his NFT collection. And of course, I've introduced them to Animoca Brands and Yatsu and trying to push them to the next level. So that's just some of the things. That's one of the things that we've literally just done. We're doing more and more and more of these. And that's exactly how we add value to these companies. So look, just back to this quickly, and I'm almost finished. Will AI build the next metaverse? We believe it will. So AI is going to be a massive component in exactly what Orange Comet does. And so we want to acquire and invest in other companies that fit our portfolio. So our next will be an AI investment that will also help benefit the rest of the portfolio companies, and we'll create scaling value, orders of magnitude of value inside London Real Ventures. The next investment we're closing actually, I think today, and I saw the CEO of Swissborg, Cyrus Vizel, in Paris yesterday. They're basically the #1 crypto wealth manager in Europe. You can see these stats here. They're absolutely amazing. They have 1 million users on their mobile phone app, 1 million users. They have incredible technology. It's one of the best DeFi platforms in the world. And they made it through all of the nonsense in crypto the last 18 months. They came out clean, no problems, no issues with people's funds, because they've always done it by the book. Because why? Because they're Swiss, all right? Everything is by the book. I've always enjoyed these guys. They've been on the show for the past 2 years, and we're investing a big chunk of money in them because look, they're building the bank of the future. They're going to build the NASDAQ on the blockchain, and they're already doing it. And they have an incredible community. They just got a massive award in Dubai as being blockchain of the year. And we couldn't be more excited than to have this. And also when we have this, we have a place that can potentially list the tokens of the companies we invest in. Is everybody seeing the method to our madness here? We're building an entire ecosystem, right? Well, we've got the Metaverse company, we've got the NFT company, we've got the gaming company, we've got the AI company, and we've got the bank that can list and transact in all of those shares. We're trying to build an empire here. And that's exactly what we're doing. And of course, the last thing I want to show you is this special deal. All right. And this is the one we're closing out, I think next week, early next week. And this is the one that just blew us away. We were already excited, but this is the one that got our jaw dropped. All right. And this is a company that looked at a bunch of single pillar solutions in crypto. And I'll show you this. Have people here heard of companies like the Sandbox? I was hanging out with the COO yesterday, MetaMask, things like OpenSea, which is an NFT marketplace. These are all really amazing crypto and metaverse companies. But the problem is your grandma can't use these companies. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about, right? Your grandma can't buy it. What's a MetaMask? What's a digital wallet? Like what's a, So you're never going to onboard these people into the metaverse, and they all want to be there because they all want these experiences. Well, guess what? This company solves all of those problems. This is how they do it. And this is how we know. By the way, we look for deals. Is it hot or not? We know right away. We see the deck, we interview the CEO, and we know. But we only know that because we've looked at 170 deals. And we've been doing this for a year and a half. And we're going to teach you how to do that. But you just do it by repetition, okay? Don't let someone tell you you can't do this. Anybody here can do this, right? And we have the proof for it. So again, this is it. And I want to share with you this last thing, which is this company. Traditional marketing is dead, all right? How many people here are in internet marketing or know that marketing for new customers is just completely changing? Put your hands up if you know. Apple's privacy option, the cookie, is making it ridiculously expensive, have changed the game, right? Customer acquisition costs are through the roof, right? Less than 15% of customers are allowing brands to track and engage directly with them. I'm struggling with this. I can't do it anymore. I suspended all of my advertising on Facebook and Google as of August last year because it just wasn't working anymore. It wasn't working. We're at a real problem right now, and companies are struggling all over the world. Traditional companies are as well. That's the problem. The opportunity is this. Consumers like you and me, we want more and more personal experiences. We're tired of seeing these same video play on YouTube and Facebook. That's the same advertisement for everybody in the world for the same product, right? Nobody wants to see that anymore. One ad at the Super Bowl for everybody. That doesn't make sense, right? Brands are searching for new customer data sources, right? 78% of marketers want zero-party data. What does that mean? The company has the data of the customer. There's no middleman. Trust me, when YouTube is involved, you don't even know who your customer is. Case in point, I've got over 2 million subscribers. Do you know how many email addresses of them that I have? Anyone want to guess? 0. Right, Tracy, are you a subscriber to my YouTube channel? I hope you are. I don't have your name. I don't have your email. I can never contact you. And guess what? God forbids YouTube wants to deplatform me. Hint, hints, May 2020. Guess what? I never talked to Tracy again. So this is what happens. People are tired of it. They want a direct relationship with their customer. Guess what? Web3 can solve this. This is what the blockchain and the metaverse does. It allows brands to create this, collect this zero-party data. They decrease customer acquisition costs. They increase loyalty and retention, and they make these one-on-one experiences. And this company is doing it and has been doing it for 6 months. And we can get in on the ground floor. It blew everybody away when we saw this. They take all of these disconnected companies, you can see this on the left, and they provide a single solution, right? They started off with companies like iHeart and State Farm Insurance and GoDaddy. Look to the right. These are their customers now. Google, PepsiCo, Paramount Pictures, Volvo, Procter & Gamble. This is what they're doing. I want to share with you a video, and this is from a recording, a call we have with them. Please keep this to yourself as it's private, but this is something that they share with us. I'm just going to share a few bits of it, but this is them doing a customer demo for us and showing us some of the things they did. So watch it. And this is the kind of things they're creating in the metaverse. By the way, these are real world examples. The customer is in the metaverse, has a wallet, but they don't know that they have a wallet and they don't know they're in the metaverse. So they don't need to plug in the sandbox and they don't need to buy Ethereum and change it into sand tokens, and they don't need to store their NFTs. It's all done for them and it's plug and play. These guys just announced a partnership with Deloitte and Touche, and they're onboarding all of their customers. They're the biggest management consultant in the world. Check this out and listen to see some of the things that they're doing.
All of their events. Plus, as I said, we're now starting to work with radio, and they're generating incredible revenue with huge brands that oversee the entire experience from start to finish, plus seeing each piece individually. The next one here, this was the biggest thing that's ever been done in the space. You'll hear me say that a lot because we keep breaking those records, which is really exciting. 200 million bags of chips were printed with Frito-Lay, the PepsiCo corporation, taking Frito-Lay to the World Cup. And what happened was on these printed bags of chips, you had QR codes that led you for the first time ever into a Web3 wallet. So we're a direct vendor of PepsiCo, working directly with a number of their brands now on all sorts of different programs to have direct relationship with their customers. So what happened was you scan the QR code. And again, we're a fully customizable platform to allow the brands to have the look and feel that they want. This was a beautiful experience. You chose your team. You're instantly registered for a chance to win tickets to the World Cup. The next thing you were done was asked if you wanted to take a photo of yourself. This gets turned into a 3D hexagon coin. That's a gift. It's an NFT. Not everybody knew that. We told them that's what it was, but it didn't really matter. It was this beautiful gift that you got. You got to play games, collecting objects in AR. You got to play a scratch card. You got to answer trivia questions. Every single interaction got you an additional entry. And then that image that you took got added to this giant UGC experience. So now you're part of the biggest global soccer ball that there's ever been, united around your love of soccer. People went crazy for this. There's celebrities on the ball, and only the people that participated got this ball as an NFT. The numbers for this are absolutely staggering. Nobody had any idea outside of scanning a QR code that you were going to get entry into the sweeps. That's all they knew. I'd scan a QR code, I might win tickets to the World Cup. 35% of the people engaged beyond that. They decided, yes, I'll take a photo of myself. 40% of those people decided, I'll share this with my friends. 70% of those people came back to play daily. They now have more directly addressable users than they do Twitter followers. The programs are continuing with Pepsi, and we'll be excited to share what we're doing with them in the future. So that's the wallet side. That's looking at it from the festival. That's looking at it from the real world experiences. The next pieces of this is the virtual worlds. So GoDaddy is a great partner of ours. Discussions are underway at the moment for, they realize that the writing is on the wall. It's not just.
So he goes on to show you a metaverse that he's created. By the way, the chip example is crazy. By the way, thumbs up if you found that pretty impressive with the Frito-Lay, right? I mean, got all these people into the metaverse connected, more customers than Twitter followers. Customer acquisition cost was like $1. I mean, you would usually pay $20 for a customer, and they're doing it in real time. He goes on to show this metaverse they created for GoDaddy, which they had 12,000 people attending in the world. By the way, he said the sandbox can only hold 150 people at once. So they're doing things at scale that blew everybody away. And this blew us away. But the thing that actually changed the game was when they showed us what they did for Google. This is Google, which is obviously known as a massive technology company, but they asked these people to build their metaverse.
take off this
I
year.
want you to watch this.
I've had a very long 9-10 months bringing all of these different companies to life and start explaining a little bit more in a minute. But what they decided to do was host their cloud developer conference. This is 20,000 people from 100 countries around the world. Now, that in of itself is just a feat to get everybody into the same destination. Not to mention that we're doing this in a 3D virtual experience. This was built by one of our agency partners. As Brian mentioned, we don't want to do the building. We want to be the platform. This was designed by the Google design team. What you're seeing here is a hologram in space. This hologram is just a transparent video. What you're seeing here is UGC. This is user-generated content so that we mute people automatically when they come into quiet zone, and they hosted these throughout the experience. What does this at the moment, both in real life, thousands of attendees coming in concurrently. We saw thousands of people coming back simultaneously. 48 minutes was the dwell time. And I'm just going to stop this here a minute. This is my favorite stat I've ever had for anything that I've ever done kind of over the last 20 years. We had to provide a 2D experience. People that are selling cloud platforms for Google, you would imagine that they would be incredibly technically savvy. They're not. They're really good at sales. They're focused on their area of expertise, and that's kind of it. And the age range is massive. Generally seems to be between 35 and 60 years old is kind of the focus, and they're really focused on their specific area. This is the first time Google has made a step into this virtual metaverse world using Web3. And so they provide two solutions. They provided a 2D world that was just traditional. You could watch everything, digest everything that you needed, participate via Zoom, or they gave them the 3D options, didn't force it either way, and they allowed them to choose. Less than 2% of the people spent under 4 minutes of their time. 2%, 4 minutes. 98% of the attendees spent an average of 48 minutes. If you ever wanted the writing on the wall for where this is going, this is it. There's no question about it. People are coming back. Everything's rewarded. It's engaging. It's fun. We're now talking about building the future of what Google will look like, which will be not just their campus for internal purposes, but also external. Everything that we're doing right now with them is internal. They're really kind of kicking the tires and testing all the different bits and pieces, and they're doing an incredible job. Always on offices and all sorts of different other fun.
Did you hear that? 98% of the people chose the 3D version, and they spent 48 minutes on there. 2% chose the 2D. I mean, this is like, look, I've been in blockchain for 2 years. We've heard about the metaverse. We've heard about the blockchain. We've heard about the open everything and the wallets. I've never, ever seen it actually being put to practical use. These guys are doing it at scale, and that thing keeps going. It's example after example after example. So we got the opportunity to invest in this. We got an amazingly low valuation, and the team saw it and everybody went all in. How many people think that looks really interesting what they're doing there? I mean, look, you don't have to be a rocket scientist, but like, wow, this could be the next PayPal. This could be the Google of the metaverse. Like this is, and it's going to be the enterprise solution for like 25,000 companies. And they're so far ahead of everybody else. And it's a plug and play solution. They literally did a press release with Deloitte and Touche last week. Deloitte & Touche is the management consultant for like the top 10,000 companies in the world. And they get Deloitte to just plug it into their companies. So they don't have to go close a McDonald's and a Burger King and a Ford Motor Company. Deloitte does it for them. And so we couldn't be more excited. It's like, this was what constantly happens to us. Just when we think we've seen the hottest deal we've ever seen, we see the next deal and then the next deal. And right now, very few places are writing checks. Does that make sense to everybody? There's very few venture capital right now because everybody got burned with FTX. And last year, equity markets lost money, fixed income markets lost money. Nobody's got any money. They're all licking their wounds. And so whoever is ready, that's the hot deal, is going to be in the driver's seat. And we've got capital ready to deploy, and they're all coming to us. Last thing is Vadom's incorporating AI into their platform. So they're enhancing everything. Real-time mass market customization of their tokens and communications, real-time analysis that goes with learnings. It's going to just jack this whole thing into the stratosphere. And so we're all in on this company. And, but it all comes down to this. You have to be willing to cut the check. What we offer to my investment club is the option. This is what's key. The option to invest as little as $5,000 in this deal. The maximum, I think someone just wrote a $50,000 check into this deal. All right. And like I said, we're looking for 100x, 200x, 300x returns is what we're looking for. So look, Tracy raised her hand earlier. So 10,000 might not get you 23 million. It would only make you maybe a measly 3 million at 300x. All right. But it's like, it gets you there is what it does. And so what we do is we give our entire club the option. I think 90% of our members wrote checks for this, which shows you how hot this deal is. But again, you can opt in or opt out. You would never, ever, ever see this deal on your own. The only reason they're showing us this deal is because there's the London Real Media platform, and we're willing to write a $500,000 check. That's why we're getting to see this deal. What we do is we pass that through to London Realers, and now you can opt in for as little or as much as you want. We wrap it up in an SPV structure that's an independent entity that has nothing to do with us, and it just goes until this company goes public and everything gets distributed. It's an incredible model. Nobody's doing this, and the access we're giving is amazing. For you to get access to a deal like this, you would have to write a $250,000 check to one of the top funds like Pantera Capital. And guess what? They wouldn't ask you if you want to invest. They'll invest in it whenever they want to invest in, and you get whatever they show you. This is a completely different model. And so that's what we're doing right now. We're cutting these checks, and we're already looking at another super hot AI deal, a bunch of Web3 deals, deep. I mean, we're seeing so much deal flow. It's not even funny. And our name is getting out there, and at Paris, everybody was talking about us. So this is happening. So look, I want to finish with a couple final pieces for you. How can you do this? How can all of you, how many people would like to invest in something they get a 300x return? Can I just see hands just to see if there's any pulses in here? Not everybody, huh? RX, Pavel's like, nah, not really. Steven's like, maybe I'm going to sleep some more. Okay. So how do you do it? Well, if you want to become the best, you got to surround yourself with the best. That's what I believe. That's why I created London Real. I mean, look, I like broadcasting conversations to you, but the truth is I get to hang out with the top people in the world. People like Robert Kiyosaki, people like Grant Cardone, people like Dan Pena that push me to the next level. That's what I believe is how you're all going to get to the next level. I'm going to show you how you can do that. I recently took my daughter to Boston. Why? Why did I take her to Boston? She could have gone to school somewhere in the UK, but I thought, you know what? She's a smart girl. She's a big fish in a little pond here in the UK. And I said, you need to go to a university where you're a small fish in a big pond. You need to be challenged. So I took her to Boston. Why? Because I went to Boston when I was a kid. I was one of the smartest kids in my high school. When I got to MIT in Boston, trust me, I was not the smartest person there. Most of the people were smarter than me there. I was probably one of the least smart people there. I worked harder than them, and I figured out how to navigate things. That's how I was successful. But I took her there because I wanted her to surround herself with the best. She's been there for 3 months, and she's loving it. She's being challenged, which is good. The same is true with you. And that's why we have people like Marianne in our investment club. We've attracted the best people in the world because we offer something incredible. Marianne Bartels is one of the top Wall Street people there is. She was like chief information officer for Merrill Lynch and Bank of America, 35 years in the game. Literally, when we're on the calls with Marianne, she teaches me about what the Fed is going to do next. She understands the US yield curve. She understands inflation, monetary policy, the stock markets. She's an incredible resource that everyone in the group has to tell us what's going on with the macro environment. It's amazing. We also have Andrew. All right. Andrew is doing amazing things. All right. He's always there to let us know what's going on in the metaverse. This is the metaverse he built in the sandbox. This is his mansion he built. This is his NFT gallery that he built in the metaverse in the sandbox. And this is him at London Real Studios when he came to see me. Andrew owns over 700 NFTs. He owns Snoop Doggy NFTs, but he also goes to one of the top executive training schools in Switzerland and hangs out with C-level executives from the Fortune 100 companies. This university also has some of the top AI professors in the world. Andrew is one of our resources, and we're constantly looking to him for advice. He jumps on Zoom calls with anybody who wants it. He's one of the many assets we have. And it goes on and on. This is Dr. Encore, and he started a YouTube channel on a dare from me. I challenged to do 10 videos in 10 days and put them on YouTube. He's like, Brian, I don't like YouTube. I'm an introvert. I used to be a doctor. I just want to learn blockchain. I want to invest. I said, trust me and do it. 380 days later, he did 380 videos. He's got hundreds of thousands of views. He just got offered $100,000 in pre-sale tokens for free to advise a company. And he turned them down because he gets better offers than that. He started this from scratch 14 months ago when he took my crypto and DeFi accelerator. These are the kind of people we're producing. We now have 60 of them in our investment club. And look, this is my philosophy. You can give a man a fish, and you're going to feed him for a day. I don't like that. You can teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. I like to teach everyone around me to be the best, so then they make me the best. I don't want you coming to me for a deal. I want you to bring me the next Orange Comet, the next Vadim. By the way, Encore brought us Orange Comet. It wasn't me. He brought us Vadim. It wasn't me. He was out there finding these deals. He was not in crypto 14 months ago. Is that impressive or not? That's impressive, right? But it's hard work. This is a true story. I'll tell you all a true story. 7 months ago, he reached out to Orange Comet and said, we'd like to see your deck and we'd like you to come and pitch us. And they said no. They said, you guys are too small for us. Guess what? Vadim said the same thing. They said, no, you can't even see our deck. We're only talking to the big players. And actually that pissed Encore off. And so he kept staying at him, and the markets went up and the markets went up. Finally, he said, look, we're writing bigger tickets. Look what we're doing with the media platform. Finally, they said, okay, fine, we'll give you guys 20 minutes. And when they saw what we were doing, they were like, wow. And he closed both of these deals. That's real talk. That happened. And every single one of our members are doing that. So that's what we're doing. And that's why I created the investment club, quite frankly, because in December 2021, we invested in Cross the Ages. I did a pre-sale token deal, right? And we gave them a 6-figure check. Now, look, I studied finance at the MIT Sloan School of Management. As you know, I worked for 15 years in the highest levels of international finance on Wall Street, Chicago, and London. And I had never heard of any of this stuff. And quite frankly, it scared the hell out of me. I'm telling you, pre-sale token agreements, these SAFT agreements, I was like, what the hell's going on here? I'm sending money to who? How do I know I'm ever going to see it again? How do I even know who this guy is? It's scary stuff. And I thought, if I'm uncomfortable, I had one thought: I got to teach all of you how to do this. By the way, this is only available to London Reelers who are on our email list, who are engaging with our content. This invite was not available on social media. Nobody else knows we're doing this, and I will not post this on my social channels. This is only for hardcore London Reelers, and nobody is teaching this. Nobody. Has anyone ever heard of this stuff before? Has anyone ever heard of anybody teaching this? No, because the rich get richer. The code on Wall Street and the city of London, which is what they call Wall Street here, is you never tell the public about this stuff, because this is how we all stay rich. This is how the fat bankers stay fat and get the multi-million-dollar bonuses every year. But I'm doing London Real now, so this is what we did. So I created the investment club. It's application-only program. It's 6 modules. It's 3 months of coursework. It's a 12-month program, but actually everyone stayed. So at this point, it's a lifetime program. Because if you're bringing deal flow in, why would I want you to leave? The bigger we are, the stronger we are. So nobody's left so far, actually. We do weekly Zoom calls with a CEO pitching us every single call. We have a private Telegram group, private Discord group. It's a one-year access to deal flow, but now it's lifetime. And you get my Kings of DeFi advanced crypto program for a whole year for free, because we want you to get up the curve with NFTs and Metaverse and blockchain. This is me teaching. I teach it live every single week. I don't fail. I taught in Paris from my hotel room, okay, on Thursday last night. We don't miss it. We don't miss a week. I don't even think I missed during Christmas. We're doing this. I do real-time learning because the modules change constantly. I'm constantly updating the modules. Every 3 months, I teach it in real time. I also like to change my colors of my shirt and my tie. Do you like these? Any favorite colors? Put them in the chat. What's your favorite? You like the blue and the red, maybe? Yeah, some people think I just pick these out randomly. It's true, I do actually. So I'm teaching these in real time, okay? This is what the modules look like. Module 1, what's a blockchain AI metaverse pre-sale, okay? I go deeper on how you invest in these early stage protocols. Module 2 is what is a SAFT or a safe? Raise your hand if you've heard of a SAFT or a safe before. Are you kidding me? A couple of you have. This is the problem. No one's ever gonna teach you this stuff. It's a shame. It really is. It's not fair. Honestly, I think it's not fair. Like, this is financial freedom. You all should know this, but no one's going to teach you this stuff. So a SAFT is a sale agreement for future tokens, right? It's buying those tokens that are going to be created in the future. Same with equity. Module 3 is deal flow part 1. I teach you those 5 T's: team, traction, technology. We also call it tokenomics and terms and conditions. Module 4 is deal flow part 2. I show you how to go out there to the conferences, to the incubators, and bring me deal flow. I need you bringing the deals to the group. We teach everybody how to do this, and we bring them up the curve. That way, you, if you want, Elizabeth, you can go create your own funds. You can. Alicia, you can go do this yourself. Tracy, you can do this yourself. I hope you do. I really hope you do. That's what we want. We want to educate our team. Module 5 is how you nurture those early stage investments. All right. Once you sign the deal, you got to get these deals public. I want these deals to win. So you got to nurture them. And number 6 is important. How do we exit? How do we get our money out? right? We try to get our money out fast so we can take that cash and get it in the next deal and get it in the next deal. I'm here to create generational wealth here, generational wealth, right? I want to create $1 billion worth of value for all of my members in the next 10 years. That's my plan. All right. $1 billion worth of value. So that's 100 people make $10 million. That's fine. Maybe it's less to make 20 million. That's what I'm going to do. That's the plan. We got a Telegram group where we stay constant. We got our Discord group where we're constantly updating modules and analysis of the deals. And this is it. Okay. We've got actually one space left on this cohort. This date's actually wrong because this was from a couple weeks ago. We are oversubscribed as usual for this. The investment for this course is significant. All right. Because we have a significant result. It's a $50,000 price to get into this. This will change your wealth forever. All right. Again, significant investment, significant return. It also, quite frankly, keeps all the suckers out. Like, I don't want people that waste my time. And if you're here and you're in, then you're in. I've never had a single person leave my investment club, and I've never had to throw out anybody because they all come in. And when they invest, they stay in and they love it. It's one of the greatest things they've ever done. All right. And it's your chance to take part of the greatest wealth creation event in human history. All right. And this special investment opportunity for Vadim is literally ending, I think, on Tuesday. So if you want in, tell us as soon as possible. Now, some of you were on this call 3 months ago where I had another similar special investment opportunity. This is the SAFT agreement on the right. Can we see that? It's a complex legal document. This is what scared me in December 2021, right? And I've signed a lot of these legal contracts in the city, but this one was like, what the hell is this, right? This deal was up 466% in one day. It was Ash Swap on the Elrond network, now Multiverse X. We made everybody $300,000 in one day. Not bad, right? Not bad for one day's work. And quite frankly, this wasn't a big deal. I was like, look, guys, do we really want to do this? We got bigger fish to fry. And we're like, but I got this deal. Do we want in on it? We're like, yeah, let's just put money. I was like, I don't think it's going to be a massive 100X, but it might just, give us some change. Look, a little 5X, when you got nothing else going on, might as well. And it's not done yet. It still could pop and go to 100 or 500. But this has already happened. This happened last year. So we've got a track record that's already working here. And look, I got a guy in the group named Jens, and he's always like saying, Brian, people don't understand the value here. And I was like, well, why don't you make a video for me? So Jens just shot this video. I just wanted to play it for you. This is a guy that's in the academy. He's been an investor with his own investment fund for, I think, 15 years. And this is just what he had to say about the program. And it's pretty interesting what he had to say.
Why should you join the investment club? And the next obvious question is, can I afford to join the investment club? My name is Jens Krautscheid, and I am an active investor in stocks and companies since age 14. And risking of stating the obvious, I'm German. Also, I am one of the founding members of the investment club. And I consider my decision to join the investment club as one of the best investment decisions I ever made and I ever will make. Why? We all had this pub talk, this talk at the dinner table where we complained about our hustle we have to do daily. We complained on the workload we have, and we try to top up each other. Who has more stress? Who is more hustling? And then sooner or later someone says, well, if I would have been an early stage investor in PayPal, I would be so rich. Or if I would have been an early stage investor in Microsoft, I would be so rich. And this is nice. This is really nice. But let's be honest. If you would have had the chance back then, 1992, to invest in PayPal, would you have pulled the trigger? Would you have invested? Quite likely you wouldn't have, because you couldn't assess the situation. You couldn't value the situation enough. In the investment club, we get these offers on a daily basis. We get the next PayPals on our table. And then we have a team of 50 people, 60 people, of a growing community of people who will do these assessments. And they will say, do this, buy this, this is the way. And then we buy this. And the next question is, can you afford to join the investment club? And the question really should be, can you afford not to join the investment club. Times are getting tougher. AI is taking over. And in what company you want to invest? In which AI company do you want to invest? Do you want to invest in the ones who do the fridges, or do you want to invest in an early stage Coca-Cola who uses the fridges? It's up to your decision. I tell you now, invest in the investment club and be part of our fabulous, wonderful group. My name is Jens Krautscheid, and I wish you the best decisions of them all.
Give it up for Jens. Come on, we like Jens. He's got good energy, right? We have an amazing group of people in here. They're just like super supportive. They're London real through and through. Not only do they want you to be successful, but they expect you to be successful. They really push you to go out there and get the best. We all feel like we're part of a really special moment. When these CEOs come on, like they just love being a part of it. They love our energy and they feel like, wow, we would really love to be on. They're pitching us most of the time. Even the big companies are pitching us because they realize this is an amazing opportunity. And again, the people in here are really, really special when it comes down to it. So again, that was Jens. And one thing that Marianne said early on, the Wall Street woman, she said, Brian, it only takes one. And I was like, what do you mean, Marianne? She's like, it only takes one, Brian. She's like, I know someone that invested in Amazon and they can retire on it. I know someone invested in Uber and they can retire on it. And she's referring to that $10,000 that turned into the 23 million. It just takes one of these things. And so look, I'm not telling you to put your entire portfolio in these. That would be silly. But you want to have some capital in these early stages. So that's my final thoughts. Don't let 2023 pass you by. You want to learn early stage investing now because it's going to be here forever. This is a skill set you can use for 20, 30, 40 years. Liquid tokens and equity have limited gains. You can learn from active investors that are actually doing this, right? It's a significant investment with a big return on investment. And I will say one thing, Martini came at me a few weeks ago and said, Brian, we got to offer a payment plan. I said, no, Martini. I said, a few of our students said we should double the price. And I think we're going to double it next quarter to 100,000 because they said it's worth it, Brian. I'm like, yeah, it's like lifetime deal flow. This is worth it. And Martini said, Brian, let's do 10,000 a month for 5 months. And I was like, okay, fine. So for 10,000, you can get in on this deal as well and pay it off over time. And it's the best deal flow in the world. No one's doing this. The truth is we don't really want a lot of people on this. We want a small group of amazing people that see our vision. And they're like, yeah, Brian, this is a no-brainer. You know, life all comes down to a few moments. And I think this is one of them. So you've got to take action. Again, I just hope you're not watching us doing this because a year from now, you're going to start to see these CEOs show up on the show. You'll see us exiting. You'll see all of my members driving around in their Lambos and their yachts. And it'll all happen, but you know, seriously, you do. And so before we go to questions, if you have any, put them in the chat, and I appreciate the time. I know it's kind of late on a Friday. I got to get home and see my boys now. But I just want to say, look, if for some reason you can't make it to our investment club, make sure that you go ahead and invest in your education, your mentorship, and your community. I believe that crypto and the blockchain is the base layer for everything, including AI and the metaverse. And I just want to say that if for some reason the investment club isn't for you, we do have other programs. Our Crypto and DeFi Academy, our next class starts in 2 weeks. And that's where I really teach you all the basics over 4 weeks. I teach you how to invest in crypto, what DeFi is, the metaverse, and everything you need to learn. It's 4 weeks, 4 modules. It's an invitation-only process. I teach it live myself. It's 8 hours of live calls, access to our e-learning platform, all the video modules, my triple-tiered accountability system, coaches, leaders, community managers. You can go see that at unreal.tv/DeFi. You can apply. It's already filling up for our next one. Bitcoin's pushing through 28,000. It could go to 40, 50,000, and then everything is back. So crypto's making a massive comeback with AI and metaverse. It's all happening. You don't want to miss this, and you want to educate yourself. Again, I've got 4 modules. I won't go through it now, but module 1 is the history of all crypto, brings you up to speed. Module 2, we get you hot wallets, cold wallets, centralized exchanges, and you do your first decentralized finance trade in that 2nd week. It's amazing. 3rd week, we go heavy into DeFi protocols like yield swaps, liquidity pools, and you do options trading on crypto. It's amazing. I'm a former derivatives guy. I'll walk you through the basics. And module 4 is how you invest, how you trade, stop losses. I teach you about my 10 coin rule, my 30-day watch list, and how you can position your portfolio for the future. So that's in the Crypto and DeFi Academy. We've got tons of reviews, graduated over 1,000 students. It's the single best course out there when it comes to blockchain and cryptocurrency. Nobody has the results we do. And again, I teach it live and I hold you accountable to take the change. I got a bunch of bonuses that I'm throwing in. If you're on this call, just ask for them later. Dan Pena Live at the Ritz is a 2-hour video of a special event I had with a couple billionaires in the room. It was an exclusive event. This has never been published before, but I'll send you this video to get you all pumped up for the course. I'll also give you module 1 of Kings of DeFi, which is how to trade like the Terminator and lock in those profits. I'll also give you module 1 of the Investment Club, which is how to find the hottest crypto pre-sale tokens. Those are all special bonuses if you want to join today. But I will say my course is not for crypto day traders. If you want to get rich, please go somewhere else. That's not what we're doing here. I have a 10-year horizon of what we're going to do. If you're an academic or a blockchain fanboy, go somewhere else. I want people that are going to pull the trigger and take action. That's how we learn. Okay, so that's all unreal.tv/DeFi. I will say we've also just introduced something called our Wealth Academy. And if you're really just starting and you want to change your brain, maybe you have a poor wealth mind and you want to create a wealth mindset. How many people here want to create more of a wealth mindset, right? An abundance mindset? Well, we've actually just created something called our Wealth Accelerator inside our Wealth Academy, where I really deprogram you and reprogram your brain to like actually become wealthy and to stop living paycheck to paycheck. You know, Robert Kiyosaki, my favorite guest, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, said, poor people work for money, rich people make money work for them. How many people here feel like they're a poor person sometime, working for money every single week, right? Robert said a paycheck is a drug habit. How many people know what I'm talking about? A paycheck is a drug habit. Once you get it, you just want the next paycheck. It's like a fix, right? You're turned into a fiend. You never create wealth and get ahead of it. I'm going to show you how. So LondonReal.tv/wealth, you can actually enroll. We're starting next week. And the primary difference between a rich person and a poor person is their relationship with fear and how they manage fear. Put your hands up if you think I'm right. Come on, you know I'm right, right? It is. I had to be taught this by Dan Pena, Kiyosaki, Jim Rickards. You got to pull the trigger and take action and be comfortable with fear. The problem is school taught you not to take risks. I go deep into this on the course, all right? Again, it's 1 hour, weekly call with me, no holds barred, 6 incredible detailed modules, all of our usual amazing global community, real action, people like this coming together just to get the best out of themselves. And these are the modules. Recognize the trap. You got to admit you live in this matrix. You got to understand the mindset of money. You got to understand that poor people work for money, rich people create wealth. We 10x your income, we slash your expenses, and then we get you to give a whole plan for the rest of the year on how you're going to create that wealth. So that's all happening at londonreal.tv/invest wealth. I would just say the best investment you can make is in yourself. It really is. How many people believe that's true? You'll get the biggest returns, bigger than AI, you'll get in yourself. It's true. And if you can just get that thing to flip your switch, you can get it to change. And for as little as $4.99 a month, you can do it. So folks, this is my favorite scene from the movie Wall Street, where Buck Fox says, life all comes down to a few moments. This is one of them. Look, if you're watching me right now, this is a chance you have to completely change your life and go one way, or you can stay in the same old pattern, repeating the same behavior and expecting a different result. That's the definition of insanity the last time I checked. So stop it, change your game, change your behavior pattern and get out of it, all right? And that's it, folks. I wanted to stop this thing and just pause it. Has that helped? Did everybody get something out of that presentation? I hope you did. I know it was long, but this stuff is too important not to do this. Again, it's late on a Friday night. My boys are staying up just so I can see them. I haven't seen them all week, but I really wanted to do this and show you I don't want you to miss this. I don't want you to miss this. And again, I need all of your help. We need an army to fight against this closed AI and closed metaverse that's going to happen from these corporations. And who wants to be with me on this and break this out? Come on, who wants to join me, right? And make this all open. It literally could mean the difference between life and death. That Terminator 2 reality or one where we can control it. I really believe that. This has to be open source. Elon Musk is right. It can't be controlled by a bunch of greedy corporations that are going to terrorize the world with this. We have to make it open, and we're going to do it by putting our money where our mouth is. Writing checks and breaking necks is what we're going to do. All right. You like that, Martini? All right. Look, I appreciate your questions there. Martini put links if you want to join the investment club or the Crypto and DeFi Academy. You can book a call with her, but whatever you do, don't waste Martini's time. She is our gatekeeper. So look, I might be the one with the suit and tie, but you have to get through Martini if you want to join our investment club. She approves everybody. She's also invested in the Vadim deal herself, so she knows what's up. Martini, maybe click in here and tell these people how they can get a hold of you if they want to take action.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you, Brian, for such an amazing presentation. And I saw that we have Tim and Srikanth, who are two of our newest investment club members on the line here, getting excited because they are also invested in this amazing project. So it's good to have you guys here representing. And you guys, AI, they say it's the future, but the future is here and now. And instead of, going against the current, now is the time, I would say, to invest in these things and to invest in these projects and to invest in your future. Because of course, like, we are in the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history right now. And of course, they say that the bear market creates billionaires and millionaires, but I would say that the best part about that is that they have the inside of where to go to create this wealth, right? And they're tapped into a community of people. And so the beauty of it is that we are now in the investment club tapped into that same well of resources, and we are planting seeds for a very, very wealthy future. So I would say for you guys who are watching this, do not stall on this. Take advantage of this opportunity, because the rich get richer with deal flow, and we are bringing in deal flow all day, every day, 7 days a week, and we get these CEOs on the call. So I would say, if anything, if you guys are interested in this, and please be serious when you're booking a call with me. I only want to talk to people, and am reserving my time for people who are serious and have serious questions about investing in these deals. So I left a link for you guys to go ahead and connect with me, either going to book a call. So go ahead and book a call. And I know that we're from all over the world here with different time zones. So if you don't see a time available, go ahead and connect with me and leave me a private message on Facebook. And just let me know where you're from and what time you will be available. And I'll do my best to work around my schedule. As Brian said, we only have one spot available, and that is legit. We only have one spot available now. So I will be making sure on the call to see if you guys are really going to contribute to the group. So yes, so like I said, go ahead and take advantage of this time. Don't let this opportunity slip you by. And I know that that sounds very cliche, but now is the time to be making those investments in a greater future for yourself and for your family and for generations to come. So I can't wait to connect with you guys. And for that one person who is ready to pull the trigger, we can't wait to see you on the inside. Back to you, Brian.
All right, give it up for Martini. She's amazing. Our director of operations here. She makes everything happen. And she's, like I said, she will decide if you can get into the investment club. So speak to her if you want to. Also, we could probably still get you in on Vadim if you make a decision quickly, as in like today or tomorrow. So I talk to her about that as well. But if not, we're seeing more and more in deal flow all the time. So these are going to keep coming. And we'll probably close this thing out in some time, and we'll probably just use the members in there, and we'll just keep getting more capital and just take this to the next level. So look, I hope you find a way to join us. I hope you find a way to educate yourself and take things to the next level. Now you know all these tools are out there. This is the time to invest in yourself. I'm telling you, learn blockchain, learn decentralized finance, learn the metaverse, learn AI. These governments, these central governments are going to start trying to shove their CBDCs down your throats, right? Does everyone know these are coming? They're going to try to literally take your freedom away. The Chinese Communist Party is already doing it with their digital yuan. About 100 million people are subject to that right now. And it's shocking what we're hearing. It's really bad. It's massively oppressive. They can literally shut down your entire existence if you cross the street wrong. And the same thing is going to be rolled out globally with the dollar. And we've got to make sure, and with other European currencies, and we've got to make sure that we keep our freedom. And if you're not educated with these things, and if you're not controlling your money, the future of money, the blockchain, the metaverse, and AI, then we don't stand a chance. So you have to educate yourself. It's not a nice thing to do. It could be our very survival. And I'll say one last thing. I have seen on the ground that a small group of highly motivated individuals can take on multi-trillion-dollar corporations, can take on these supposedly helpful non-government organizations, if you know what I mean, can take on governments, can take on anything. A few motivated people with some capital and some intention and some technology like blockchains, like AI, can take on and take them down, right? We succeeded. We fought back and we won. And we showed the world that you actually can push back. So remember that. It doesn't take much, but if we all lay down and if we all acquiesce, it's not going to work. And if we decide to go ahead and do what they're doing in Paris when I was there yesterday and, break some bottles and burn some cars in the streets, I mean, bless them, but that's not going to do it either. We've got to do it with our capital, and we've got to do it with intention and with intelligence, and create value and create a better solution than their solution. If we do that, we're going to change the world. All right. So that's my message on a Friday night. Look, I appreciate all the message of support. Tim, thanks for that amazing message you sent me. I just posted that to everybody. I hope you don't mind, Tim. And it was just, he's just been in the investment club a couple of weeks and he's just loving it and it's blowing his mind. And we've got such a special group. We've got amazing energy. I love this group. 2 of our investment club members were with me in Paris. One was Carol. She was there 2 days in a row, interviewing companies back to 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 back. I mean, it was crazy. She was fried. She was like, Brian, I don't even know if I know what I'm doing. I'm like, you're doing great, Carol. And these companies were coming up to me. They're like, yeah, we talked to one of your representatives and we really want to be a part of London Real Ventures. And I was like, whoa. And then Jose came with his son and the 2 of them brought in a deal and they were pitching some other deals. And so like, we have an amazing community here. And we're just taking it to the next level and we couldn't be more excited. So look, I hope you all join us. Really appreciate everybody being here. I hope you learned something and I hope you can just pull the trigger, take action and take your life, your portfolio to the next level. All right, folks, let's do this. I appreciate all of you. Lots of love. Let's go knock these AI controlling bastards off their blocks. Shall we? Shall we do this? Microsoft, we're looking for you. OpenAI, it's not cool what you're doing. We're coming to get you is what we're doing. All right. I said it. Big love to you all. We'll see you on the inside. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye.